instead of work, live off that. Oh, no, definitely.
9697.
Well, hello everybody. Nice crowd tonight. Excited to see. Joe, can you turn on the music? The data music? Awesome. All right, so welcome to the Action and Accountability Meetup Group. We get together every 2 weeks, and typically we have a smaller group, and we just basically kind of make introductions, talk about the kind of things we're into. People are talking about deals that they're looking at or that they might be doing. Sometimes people have questions about different aspects of real estate, and while myself kind of heads us up with the assistance of Joe, Joe Mueller, anybody who doesn't know him, is the actual owner of Tanis, so he lets us use his space, which we're very appreciative of. But we don't, we're not, selling coaching programs. We don't have out-of-town speakers with, DVD sets to run back to the room and all that stuff. We really just work out of a kind of a spirit of abundance, not scarcity. So we try to help each other. We answer questions. We try to lend some direction, and we just try to help each other, I guess is what we normally do. This week we're going to do something a little different because Joe and I do wholesale deals. We typically do, 1-2 a month, kind of on average. So we don't necessarily do tons of volume, but the stuff we do bring, we like to think are actual deals, right? What I thought we would do tonight is there's actually 2 opportunities I want to talk about. One is kind of a fix and flip opportunity. It's up in Holiday Hills. And the other one is going to be more of a kind of a rental situation. It's up in Round Lake. So just to give you kind of an idea of what we're going to do tonight, we're going to go through the Round Lake property first. We're going to go through the Holiday Hills property second. Then if anybody here has any deals that they're looking to sell or they have anything they want to, pitch, they can come up and do that. And then when that's over, we're going to go back out in the big room and have some beverages if you choose. And we're going to kind of break off into kind of different areas depending on what it is that you do. So if you're a wholesaler, we might say, meet over in this section. And if you're, someone that's looking for private money or has private money to loan, or you're looking for a partner, so we'll kind of break up into different groups so that way you'll know where the people are that might be the kind of people you want to talk to. Because in a group this big, it's going to be very difficult to talk to everybody before you go home tonight. Any questions? Okay, so the Round Lake deal, and again, this is kind of a group thing, so we're going to kick some things around, and we'll kind of analyze some of these things together and decide as a group whether these are any good or they're not. But the first one is in Round Lake, and this is a property that is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, kind of cottagey place, I would call it. It does not have a garage, and it does not have a basement. The seller is moving out, downsizing, and the opportunity here is to buy it subject to the mortgage that's already in place. Now, here's the wrinkle. The mortgage that you're going to take over, or I'll take over, is $83,000. The property is worth probably $80,000 to $90,000. So there's no equity on the front end of this thing at all. Not only is there no equity on the front end of this thing, because it had a loan modification, in the year 2036, there's a balloon payment due of $40,000. So now you're saying, well, wait a minute, why do I want to buy $120,000 house that's only worth 80 or 90? Well, there might be a couple reasons. Some people are unable to get credit and they don't have the ability to get a loan. And so this is an opportunity where you'll need some money on the front end, including like an assignment fee and maybe some work that it's going to need. It's going to need paint, it's going to need a few other things. Maybe $15,000 all in. But if you do that, then the monthly payments are $588. The rent is probably $950. So you could get in with a relatively low dollar. You'll take over the loan that's already in place, and you'll cash flow $362 a month. And if anybody's got a calculator, you can start punching some of that out. You know, so what if you did that for 20 years? The property taxes and the insurance are built into the payment. So that $588, that's an all-in number. So how many? How many
years left in the mortgage?
20 years.
Well, it's got to be 20. What did I say? 2036.
Yeah. 20
So
years.
20 years.
Is the lenders all in for this assumption?
No.
So it's on the QT then.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So how would anybody evaluate that thing realistically? Because you're not going to make 362 for 20 years straight. We can all agree on that, right? We're going to have some vacancies. We may have some maintenance. Might have some work to do on the house along the way. But let's take the absolute maximum and work backwards. Who's got 362 times 20 years?
It's 86. Oh, 86, 80.
Okay.
So 86,000.
All right, let's call it 86,000. So on 86,000, how much does anybody feel we ought to back out for maintenance and vacancies over the next 20 years? 40? Anybody else have a number?
It's only a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, you said, right?
2-bedroom, 1 bath.
Shouldn't be too
The
much.
bathroom's recently been redone. It's on a crawl. There's no garage.
It should be more, maybe 20, I think.
Maybe 20. Okay.
There's going to be a new roof after a while, and some.
Mm-hmm. The electric's all been redone, I should mention. Right. So relatively little money in the game. You could take over this mortgage and potentially make $40,000 to $60,000 over the next 20 years, and then there's that balloon payment to be dealt with. So at that point, you could take it even further. You could probably at that point you might be able to refi out of that thing, right? And even if you carried the 40, what would the payments be on $40,000 over another 25-year commercial loan? 275, 300, maybe. And the rent on this place ought to be probably $950.
It might be going up too after.
Yeah, well, right in 20 years, right?
To a point,
Sure.
not too far, but it would go up a little bit.
So sometimes, Joe and I do a lot of marketing for off-market properties, and sometimes these are the kind of opportunities that come. So they're not all, in a box. Sometimes they're very creative, and how can we do this, and what do we have to do to make it happen? And so that's the Round Lake opportunity. Does anybody have any questions about that maybe I didn't answer?
I'm not real familiar with the Round Lake area. Have you guys done much in there?
A few things. I've done a couple
Arrows
things over there.
generally pointing up in the vicinity or pointing down?
I don't know if it's pointing at all.
Neither.
I mean, it's kind of just swirling.
It's Round Lake like I remembered it 20 years ago.
Yeah, probably.
Well, there's a new construction in Round Lake, where the Grace Lake.
That's
is
true.
nice.
And there's a bunch of new construction heading east
Yeah.
towards Baxter over there. Mm-hmm.
Are there any tax exemptions or freezes currently on the property?
Not that I'm aware of.
For property taxes, owner occupied or tenants?
Owner occupied. Right now. It's fixed. And I don't recall what the interest rate is. Because for this purpose, I wasn't too concerned about it. I was more interested in how much are the payments and is there a spread? And there was. So it's not the spread that I might normally want, but it's a relatively easy in with a smaller spread, but
So
there's
this
potentially an
basically-
opportunity there.
This is an opportunity for someone that doesn't have good credit
Mm-hmm.
or a lot of cash and they want to get the property.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You know, even for young people, I mean, there's a guy that I know that wasn't able to make it tonight, and he just so wants to get into real estate so bad, but he's young, like, when I say young, like 22, he's got a car, so he makes car payments. Well, even on that, even the, you got Midwest Corporate Credit, what's the other one? What is it, Bill Jennings? I forgot the name of this company right now. Pathway Financial, you know, where they set you up with non-secured debt, but he doesn't have enough history and credit score to even get started with that. So, you know, this might be an opportunity for someone like that. Maybe dad, some uncle, some family member who's got just enough to help him get started, right? Okay. So that's what that one's all about. The next one we have more complete information on. Let's see if this is going to work. Thanks, Joe. Okay, so let's talk about how this deal came my way, and then, you know, I'm really going to kind of take you through it the way it came to me and how I went about looking at it, and then we can kind of all dissect it together. So this is a property in Holiday Hills. A realtor friend of mine
Set that down.
called me, and he said, hey,
You're gonna have to share.
there's a house here that I think you might be interested in. I went over there. He doesn't want to list it, and he's had a bad experience with a wholesaler that screwed him around and didn't get his house sold. And he's gun shy. He doesn't want to sign a contract with anybody. He's always concerned about is how fast can it close. But he goes, but I think the price is right, and I think it's probably a good deal. I go, great, I'm interested. So I had him send me over a CMA, which some of you are holding. Joe's going to go back and click it on the screen. Joe, can you get to the CMA? Awesome. So the realtor that sent me this is not here tonight, but this is the guy that led me to this deal. Joe, apparently, right? So, so he gave me a bunch of properties, and of course I did a little of my own poking around, and he told me that he thought this house, when it was finished, could be sold anywhere between probably $140,000 and $160,000. So if you're at all like me, I figure go long, because we have a sense you want to pump everything up. So I take a conservative approach. He says 140, 160. That rhymes with 140 to be more most likely. So he's got some comparable properties. The one that is the closest to a bang-on comp is 1803 Beach Nut, which is really just a few blocks away, and it sold for $157 just in August, and that is an identical house, being it's also 3 bedrooms, 1 bath. It also does not have a basement.
This one's 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom.
The This one's 3-bedroom, 1 bath. So that was a fully rehabbed house. Okay. You can keep rolling.
Is that well and septic, Dan, or city water?
That's the one that's probably that's the closest. That's the closest comp right there.
What's the subject? Is it well and septic or public water?
I think that's on
Out
top of
of
the
hill.
out in Hill. No, well, septic over there. Okay. So this is the information that I had going in. So I figured, well, let's go take a look at this place. So when we got there, Joe, can you move it ahead to the pictures? So at the end, I think his evaluation came out. Who's got what is he right? 151 or something that he said.
It says hit the clicker.
All right, we're good now. What's on the last page? $152. So Joe says, get this thing fixed up, sell for $152. So this is the house. The roof is new. You wouldn't know it by looking at this picture. It's got a new roof. The garage in back was just built. And when we zoom in a little closer, you'll see that aside from the picture window, the other bedroom windows and such have been replaced and they're double windows. There's the house from the other side. That's along the driveway. Get a free motorcycle.
Yeah.
There's the garage that was just built brand new. Now, the way that was built, he said, he was a little upset. He goes, he goes, how many hills here being by the lake and the river? This is kind of typically a floodplain kind of area. He goes, but before they built that garage, they checked with, I don't know who he said, but he goes, this property is not affected by that. So because of that, they were able to build it a different way, better way, whatever. So,
They built it in a slab. They put a concrete slab.
yeah, it's got a concrete slab. Sliding glass with doors to the right go to a bedroom, and the other two to the kitchen. So you got the yard, you got some junk in the back. There's the new garage. There's the new power windows in the front of the house. Brand new condenser. And here's what we got going on inside. So this house was gutted. It was this guy's plan to redo this house and retire there. And then his plans changed. So that's walking in the front door. There's an old, like, potbelly stove deal there. So you got some outside wall insulation ready. It's all framed. That's the kitchen. It's positioned for a corner sink. He expanded the bathroom, so he's anticipating this sink is for maybe somebody's wife or something to get ready, and he referred to this pedestal sink as a shaving sink. So new pedestal sink, new toilet. It's got a new jacuzzi bath sitting in there with not installed, of course. It's got a 6 sprayer, so that'll get somebody nice and wet. New panel. House has been rewired. Brand new furnace. Here's the laundry room. some of the electric work. There's that extra vanity. So all the rough plumbing is done. In the front room, there are 6 can lights like that already in place. That's that back bedroom. That's the sliding door there in purple. There's all the insulation already jammed into one of the bedrooms that can be used to finish the ceiling. All right, so now some of you have pen and paper. So when I go into a property like this, I've got to try to figure out, all right, what do I think it can sell for? What do I think it's going to cost to get it in that condition? And then of course I got to, build a price beneath that, right? So I made a short list of things that I think are going to need to be done. And I've got some figures down what I think it's going to cost to do it. But I thought it'd be a good exercise if we kind of went through that as a group. So I'll read them all off, and then if I've missed anything drastic, you can tell me. So I thought this place was going to need a driveway and an apron. There was a concrete slab along the side of the house, but it was basically kind of grassy up to that, and then between that and the new garage. So I was figuring it's going to need a whole new driveway and an apron there. I figured the roof's going to need to be cleaned and the exterior is going to need to be power washed. All that insulation is going to have to be installed. The property is going to need to be drywalled, mudded, and taped. It's going to need to be painted. It's going to need flooring. You're going to need kitchen cabinets. You'll need granite, appliances. You'll have your finished electrical and plumbing work. You'll need materials for the kitchen and bath. And I put in a loose category of general carpentry. Does that seem like that's about it?
Do you know if all of the rough-in plumbing and electrical passed inspections and stuff like that?
My understanding is it did. All the work is all permitted and done right.
Anybody not get a sheet?
So I'm going to go through these categories one at a time, and I realize you're not walking the property, but based on the pictures, and this is a 1,200 square foot house, no basement, I'm going to read these off again, and if you got a pen and paper, jot down a number, what you think it's going to cost to fix that, and when we're done, you can add them up, and we'll kind of get a range of where we're all at in this room. So a driveway and an apron for that house, and I can't tell you how long the driveway is, but I know that would help you if I did. So you kind of got to look at it, right?
Go backwards.
Currently,
Yeah, so this is zoomed in. I would tell you that from this concrete to the street, it's probably, Joe, did you say 30? Probably 30 feet?
3 cars?
2-car garage.
No, but about
Right.
3
Right.
3 feet.
I'd say probably 60 feet. 60 feet of driveway, maybe 75 to be sure.
All the way to the garage?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I said 30 from this concrete. Because from here
To the curb.
to the back of the house is all concrete, but then see this apron piece is missing here.
That concrete has to be
Yeah, but
replaced.
you're gonna have to raise, look at how high up
Yeah,
the garage
yeah,
is,
yeah.
so.
Right.
That's a lot of concrete.
Yeah, you gotta put a new
Nobody
driveway
says
all the
you
way
have to use
down
concrete.
to match everything.
I'd probably do it asphalt. And it's gonna need extra because you're gonna have to build that area up. Okay, so if you got a figure for that, go ahead and write it down.
Any permits pulled on that property yet?
Open permits? No.
No permits pulled yet?
No, they all been pulled.
Yeah, I'll pull for all the
They
rough work.
closed at this point. For the rough.
Oh, for the rough, gotcha.
Mhm. All right, so that roof needs to be cleaned off, and the exterior is in good shape, but it does needs to be power washed. All that insulation you saw in that one bedroom all needs to be installed primarily in the ceiling. You've got 3 bedrooms, that front room, and kitchen that needs to be drywalled. So if you have a number for that. Then figure you're gonna have to paint the entire interior, including casing, base and shoe, the whole deal. $1,200 square foot place needs flooring, so that'll be you pick it. You gotta carpet it, you gotta put vinyl flooring down, you gotta spend some money in hardwood, the whole thing. Kind of a dealer's choice, right? Kitchen cabinets. I don't have the dimensions in the kitchen, but it's kind of just a short L. You had that corner sink, so you got to stretch from there to the sliding glass doors. You got a little bit to the right to that side door that goes out to the driveway. You need your typical 4-piece appliance package. You have all your finished electric work. Am I going too fast? You guys getting some numbers down? I'll hold up for a second. I've been writing down the categories, and I'll give you kind of a second to fill in some numbers. You got your finish work electrically and for plumbing. You need some bath and kitchen material. If you're gonna do anything with the backsplash area, the tub surround, flooring in the bathroom. I threw in a category of general carpentry. I threw a number in there for that. And take a second, add all your numbers up, and let's see what kind of numbers we come to for what it's going to take to finish this house.
Like trim doors.
Yeah, well, I didn't, some of that falls into the general carpentry probably. For my purposes anyway. I forgot to mention that. Who in this room does wholesale deals? Like sources of them? Okay, so you all know that these are all the things that are swirling around in your head while you're trying to build rapport and figure out how you're going to get the pen on the paper, right? Who's got a number they want to share? Hold on. 30, 35, 38, 33, 37, 27, 30, 40. My number was 30. When I walked the property, I looked around, and I figured 30. So let's talk about how I maybe came to 30, because when I was there, I certainly didn't have a spreadsheet out, and I wasn't calculating and measuring and trying to get numbers. I was trying to build rapport and get a contract signed. So there's a couple ways I go about it. I'm certainly, again, this is just what I do, and I'm certainly would love to hear what some of the other wholesalers need to do. When I look at properties, I'm trying to get a quick number on what it's going to take to do a house. If I walk in and it looks like it's going to be a total gut rehab, I just figure it's probably going to be somewhere near $40 a square foot. And I figure that'll about cover it. And I figure that's usually inside only. So if it needs a roof, I'm going to add that. If it needs things outside, if it needs to be re-sided, I'm going to add that. Windows, they can sometimes go either way, the way I figure it. Does anybody else use that number or anything like that as a gauge? If it looks like it's going to be kind of a cosmetic rehab, depending on what's what, I figure 20, 25 probably.
I look for 30.
Hmm?
I look for 30.
30?
25 to 30.
Okay. So on this property I looked at and it said, well, all new roof plumbing, all new roof electric, new panel, new furnace, new condenser, everything's brand new. You've got tub, toilet, sinks, that stuff's already there. So I go, I'm going to say for this, because it's mostly just putting it back together. The house is clean, there's no demo work to be done, there's no dumpsters being ordered, it's a clean job, just go finish it. So I figured it's got to be about 20. It's a 1,200 square foot house, so that's 24. And then my number to do a new driveway was 6,000. So that 30 is what I came up with while I was walking around making nice. This list wasn't put together until after the fact. And then after the fact, I go, well, what do we really got to do here? And I tried to break it down, and I thought it was interesting on a one-shot deal on my chicken scratch, and my number came to 30,450. So, how I typically try to think about a price that a buyer might look to pay for it. Yeah, let's hand those out. So, there's a couple, and there's the 70% rule, and I got a 90% rule written underneath, and that's come to me more from buyers of mine. In other words, how they look at it, how they look at a deal. So typically, I would look at a deal like this. Hold on. Okay, so there it is on the screen. If anyone doesn't see it. So ideal, I got to look at the after repairs value, and in this case, I figured, well, that was going to be 140. Frankly, I think it could be higher, but I'd rather be conservative. And I figured 70% of that's 98,000, and I figured 30,000 in repair costs. So I'd like to think that a fix and flip buyer would consider this a legitimate deal. Somewhere, frankly, I'd probably round it up to 70. And I got this property for 70,000. Here's what I know. Go check it out. See what you think. Yes, sir.
So what about your wholesale fee? How do you factor that in?
Well, so these are the numbers that are going through my head there. So when I'm going, okay, well, if I'm going to sell this thing to somebody for 70, then in order for me to make any money, I'm going to have to get a less than that.
That's your price, 70, right? That's what you're selling it for?
That would be, well, not selling for any price right now, but I'm just suggesting that on a normal thing, this is how I would go through it. And in my mind, as I'm putting maybe my email together, some of you get my email blast, knowing, I don't necessarily, when I send out my stuff, I don't show everybody this calculation. What I'm sharing with you is how I get to the number that I think some of my buyers would be willing to pay for this property. So, I figured probably 70. Now, I have a buyer that says, well, because I look at it a little differently. He told me he buys based on what he calls a 90% rule. So he says, well, I take an after repaired value times 90. And he goes, I figured that 10% is going to cover my holding costs and my sales commissions and all that on the back end. So he goes, those are my soft costs. I got 10% built in for that, so 90%. Then he says, well, how much profit do I want to make? And again, this is where it gets different for everybody. Some school of thought is, hey, for every $100,000 I have invested in a project, I got to see $15,000 of profit on the backside. So I'm not buying a house for $300, putting $100 into it, and doing all that to make $26,000. It doesn't make sense. But on a smaller deal like this, one of the guys I know would say, yeah, in a deal like this, he goes, if I can make, I'd love to make 25. I'd probably do it if I could make 20. It looks like a pretty straight up job. Just finish it up, be ready for spring, probably sell it for more than the 140 you're telling me. So, if I plan to make 20 or 25, I'd be pretty happy about that. So he takes that number and backs that out, and that kind of gives you an idea. After he backs out the repairs, what he can pay for the house. So by that measurement, if you're looking at a $25,000 profit on this house, that'd be 71. So to somebody like that, if I shot this thing out for 70, they'd go, that looks below what I'm looking at. So just out of curiosity, any other wholesalers that are buying or from off-market properties or whatever, and people that are buying projects and doing rehabs, does anybody want to share how they evaluate?
Same thing as the job there, Dan, 70%. Like you said, when you're walking around, you tally up, but you kind of already know costs already, so you just go on a quick, rule of thumb.
Mm-hmm. Now, the thing that was interesting when we started talking about what the price of doing all this work is that's maybe one of the biggest variables. Because if you have a relatively new investor, I'll tell you a quick story. I had a house in Crystal Lake I was working on. It needed windows, siding, and a roof. I called several contractors in the area. The lowest price I was able to shame anybody into, and they went kicking and screaming for those three things, was $20,000. And I knew that was just way too much. So, in case you haven't heard me say, what I like so much about these groups and networking and meeting people is because every good and legitimate relationship I have in real estate has come from a meeting like this or somebody else's meeting that I go to. So I made a couple phone calls, and I called a friend of mine, and I go, dude, I can't find anybody to do this work for under $20,000. This is $19,000, it's ridiculous. He goes, yeah, that's ridiculous. He goes, hold on a second. Made a phone call, boom, boom, boom. He goes, here, I called this guy. Well, long story short, we did all three of those things for $11,000.
Wow.
That's more like it, right? But for somebody that doesn't have the phone a friend, and they're figuring, well, it's going to cost me $20,000 for that and flooring, that could very easily be a $40,000 or $50,000 job, retail, right? Now you have other buyers that do a lot of the work themselves. So they may or may not really put a value on their time. Everyone's time has value, but some of them might just look at, well, what am I going to have in materials, and I'll do the rest, and what kind of gap can I get? Then you have buyers that have several crews going all the time, so the price points that they're buying supplies greatly lowers their cost. So that's why on these MLS deals where you have to bring your highest and best all the time, and you see people buying these properties and you look at your numbers, you go, how the heck can anybody be paying this kind of money for this stuff? It's either they're half crocked and they don't know what they're doing, which is possible, and sometimes the economies of scale work in some of these guys' favors that they can know the work that needs to get done, and they can get it done a whole lot cheaper than you ever dreamed about. And so there's bigger crews, because they got to keep the money moving, because they got to keep their guys working. I know guys that are willing to buy properties that, frankly, they break even. They might even be willing to lose a couple thousand in the end, because they just want to keep their guys working, because if they don't keep them working, they're gone. So, depending on the scale of your operation, these are all the things that get taken into account. So the wrinkle on this property is this guy's whole thing was how fast can it close, how fast can it close, how fast can it close. So we have a date of Friday, February 3rd. So that's 2 weeks from this Friday. So this probably has to be a cash deal. Probably got to have your money ready. You're not going to have time to get it all financed and do all that kind of stuff. Typically, when I do these deals, I tend to do them maybe different than some other wholesalers do them. The way I typically do them is I put out a price that I think is fair. I go, I got to make a few bucks, and if I'm a crappy negotiator, then I don't make any money. And if I negotiate a really great deal, sometimes I do pretty good, right? But you want me to do good, because if I don't do good, I don't have money to send out another 5,000 postcards to find more deals, right? So I put what I think is a fair price, and instead of playing everybody against each other in a big bidding war, I typically say, here's a price, go check it out, and do your due diligence, and the first person that brings me a $2,500 non-refundable cashier's check gets the deal. So the fight is against yourself and the clock, not against other people, and you don't feel like you're getting played. Because I wanted to use this as an example for our group, for maybe some people that don't really know how to evaluate deals, or curious how other folks evaluate deals, so I kind of wanted to take everybody through it. I wanted to go through the different components of what I go through when I go out on an appointment and I'm looking to get a house under contract like this. So this will be a contract assignment. So I don't have a price on this one, because in a setting like this, I had no idea, quite frankly, how to do it in any kind of reasonable way that would be the least bit fair, particularly because you haven't even seen the property. So if there's anybody that thinks they're interested in this deal, Joe's got an envelope somewhere, and in there are contract assignments, and there's a place on there to put the price that you'd be willing to pay for this. Obviously, this is a unique situation, so it's going to be pending a trip to the house to get inside and validate what you think it is and all that, right? So where I would typically say a price, first come, first serve, on this one, for the sake of this group, if anybody's interested, fill out a sheet, put a number down, and if you're the highest number, you'll get the first whack at it. I anticipate this thing will be gone probably in the next 24 hours. If it's not, then I'll call some of my buyers that aren't, couldn't come tonight and said, well, I'm interested, let me know, kind of thing. And lastly, send it out to the buyers list. On the FEMA map, it shows that it is, but from an insurance standpoint, I'm told it doesn't need flood insurance. Could work as a rental. Anybody? There's anyone here know that area?
12 is 1,100.
1,100.
1,100? Okay. Of course, there's a lot of different formulas to figure out what the rental numbers are, if that makes sense. Who here does a lot of rentals? And you want to be so kind as to take a whack and take anybody through the numbers on, if you were evaluating this to hold as a rental, what the cash flow might be and if it made sense from that standpoint?
You can do that. I've actually been to this house.
You have?
Yeah. Nice guy. You got it after I was there, because I just looked and I was there in October.
October.
He lives in Jamaica.
He does.
Really nice guy. Lives in Jamaica.
He does.
Which is crazy.
That's where he should retire.
That's what it
Yeah.
is. He's
Well,
in
that's,
Jamaica.
I told you his plans changed.
Yeah. I wonder why.
I was there,
It sounded like, no, honestly, and this is from a wholesale perspective, this happens all the time, right? So there's
Yeah.
guys that are, he was set on what he thought he could get. I think he had a wholesaler that screwed him around at some point, and he was just,
I made an offer.
I just saw what everybody else's offers were, and he wasn't going to take anything around that. So that was sometimes it's a follow-up in this business is incredibly important. I was there in October, and you were there in December, because I looked and I caught him on the 18th,
I was there Saturday.
and it was, okay, so it was right after that, and he had already had,
No, I mean last Saturday.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things, follow-up,
Mm-hmm.
because you never know when you're going to be that person that
Mm-hmm.
talks to him like
And I'm telling you, this guy was,
former Marine, nice guy.
we were messaging on Facebook. He told me flat out, I'm not signing anything. I'm agreeing to show you, come over and look at it. If you're agreeable, then I'm not going to sign anything. He told me at least 3 times while I was there that he wasn't going to sign anything. Did he tell you that?
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
Was your offer close to his?
I didn't make an offer.
Oh, okay. That's all right.
Yeah.
No,
I'm just
because
saying
there was,
some
I think,
people-
3 or 4 other people around the same price point that we all were,
Mhm.
and he wasn't ready to sell it yet.
Okay. Some people, like
And
you said,
you
for
hadn't made an
another
offer.
2 or 3 months,
I
he
do. I
might
have
have
him
been
under contract.
Might have been, yeah. I
Yeah.
was there in October, and this was
right. He's ready to sell
But
then
he signed for
because,
me. Yeah.
like you say, his
I
plans.
think I should have held a
Everybody
negotiation class.
So everybody else went there and made an offer, but he didn't accept it. That was bad. So
Yeah,
now
it was a
he
couple
wants
months
back.
ago.
That's
I
the
think
idea.
he was ready to
Yeah.
What was
Yeah.
your other one?
What's up?
All you guys know that there's a nice young lady there. Several guys go buy her drink, but she only leaves with one of you. I wouldn't say that.
He had called me, I think, early December. He said this wholesaler had promised him that he'd have it sold and he'd be able to go back to Jamaica for Christmas.
Mhm.
And,
Yeah, he must have one, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was,
that's what I'm saying. Sooner or later,
I mean, he was-
he's gotta
he
take
was
an
a nice
offer,
guy.
otherwise he's just,
and I'm like, how
Hanging
many
on
more
to it
times
for
do you
too
want to
long
go?
now.
How many more times do you want to do this? You know, sooner or later you have to put your trust in somebody, right? You know, this insistence that everyone can come over but he's not signing anything. You know, I don't know how that gets you any closer to moving back to Jamaica. Right?
Yeah.
So the estimate on this thing is 151. I pulled up a Redfin number earlier. Did anybody pull that up?
he's got about 2
For the record, I never trust those numbers. The only time I look at those numbers, and anybody want to correct me if they think differently, is whatever the rent estimate is. I find that to be fairly accurate, and even if it's not, even if it's high, when you go to, if you're going to rent a place, that number can be high, and because it's on Zillow, must be true, a potential renter looks there and goes, oh, well, it says it should rent for $1,400, you're at 13, that's a good deal. Even though it might only, maybe it should be 11, right?
Yeah, because
So
everybody's
sometimes-
first by Zillow.
Sometimes that works in your favor, sometimes not so much, right?
What did Redfin was 163.
Redfin's 163.
Wow.
So again, does anybody think based on some of the comps and some of the, that we could sell this for more than 140?
Do a nice job.
Do a nice job, yeah.
So that's a definite maybe. And does anybody not think that 30,000 is kind of a, you know, give or take a little number to get this house done?
Depends if you go carpet or hardwood floors, you know. I mean, if you
Depends
go
on the
more-
finishes.
Yeah.
Sure. Is anybody here that's interested in this deal? 1, 2, 3. Okay. 4. All right, excellent. Yeah, I think it's a nice little property, frankly. So, my goal my intention is to wholesale this, and if I don't, then I'll just do it myself. Because I think it's a nice deal, I can keep it anyways. Holiday Hills is 31 to 176, head east towards Island Lake, and when you get to River Road there, which is by that McDonald's, you head north, and it's on the left-hand side.
Right on the border.
Yeah, I mean, it's really southern McHenry, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's got a McHenry zip code.
Yeah.
For what that's worth. Mm-hmm. All right, so anybody that is interested in that, when we go mingle, make sure to find Joe or I and grab a slip and fill it out and stick it in the envelope, and we'll go from there with it. Did anybody else have any properties that they wanted to talk about, promote? You have to leave, right? So,
Yeah.
why don't you come first?
You got that?
I do, it's right here. You can stay there, you can come up front, anything, whatever you want to do.
I gotta walk out anyway. No, just leave it as is. Thank you.
Demos all done, everything like that.
My name is Mike Lebeck. I know Joe, I know Dan. I made a couple flyers. I have 2 local properties. Everyone, if they're interested, these can be either buy and hold, or they can also be a fix and flip. Currently, the interiors have been rehabbed. In particular, this one known as Blackhawk, this one known as Cardinal. Blackhawk has had gut rehab done, electrical, new service, new copper plumbing, PVC. So a lot of gut rehabs besides the normal drywall and so forth. Both of them are rented. I can let you guys look at all the details. But basically the leases on both expire May 31st. Both sets of tenants in each property are interested in staying. There are also tenants I put in there because they expressed interest in rent to own. So if you want a lease option, you want to possibly sell the property to them in the future, it's an idea. If they don't exercise, or actually if they don't choose to relet, and if you don't want to relet, you can just let the lease expire. Now at that point, at the end of May 31st, both of these properties become fix and flippable. You'll probably need to go in, do some touch-ups, hopefully ideally it's just paint. Most of the tenants are good, I've already been through the properties, they seem to be taking good care. So there'll be some kind of rehab cost, but it's very minor, it's cosmetic, it's touch-up. And then you can go ahead and sell it in the summer. I'm looking to do another deal in Chicago is the reason I'm getting rid of it. But they currently can cash flow positive. This one is $1,345 on the monthly rent, and this one's $1,300. Tenants pay all utilities, and I'm fighting the real estate taxes on this one to abate these and get it down a little bit more. This one location, not as great. I mean, I like it. I may make it work for me, but every investor has to figure out if it's worth your while and what you want to do with the property. But it's not one of Dan's properties. So I do go in and I bring in contractors and subcontractors. I do work myself. We put in a lot of new investment into the property, but there's still probably a little work to be done on everything. So windows aren't done on both properties, but they work, they're functional, they're nice. So there's things like that. The Blackhawk property, this one here, could definitely use some exterior work to beautify the property, and possibly, add additional side driveway as well, because the driveway is currently off a busier street. If you're interested, all my contact information is down here at the bottom. Again, these are more rehabbed already, rented, more turnkey, where you don't need to do a lot. So if you don't want to tackle something like this, which is, again, a great opportunity here that Dan has. It depends, different strokes for different folks. So this one's more ready to go. I'm going to leave these out. Again, it has my contact information on it if you're interested. So I have my prices. Everyone do their own due diligence and think about what things are worth now and possibly could be worth this summer. And again, even still, they're cash flow. So you have that advantage. Questions from anyone?
Where they're located?
Right here, Lake in the Hills in Algonquin. So they're both on the west side of the river. So they're in the Jacobs School District, which is rated 9 out of 10. Nothing wrong with the east side either, but better high school rating if you're trying to rent or sell to people with families. They are both 3-bedroom, 1-bath. Similar to Dan's houses, there's no basements with these. This is 1,050 square feet with a detached 2-car, and this is 1120 square feet with an attached 2-car. With an extra apron on the side for a third driveway. So you could expand the garage and make it a 3-car. But basically, and you can see the picture, so take a look at it. Give me a call if you have interest. I just can't stay, unfortunately, to the end of the meeting, but if anyone interested,
So you put those where up on the counter?
I'll put them out over
Okay,
in the kitchen.
Okay, excellent.
Is that good?
Thanks for coming. Thanks for bringing some opportunities. That's excellent.
So these are more, again, turnkey, ready to go. If you don't have a lot of time to do rehabs, they're already cash flowing. You just need to get the right mortgage product on it. So you want to get a true rental type of product or residential. So not really a fix and flip hard money kind of loan. Then you're going to be negative cash flow on something like that. So traditional banks, those kind of things, your credit's there, and you want to get something 4 or 5% is going to be
It's ready to go.
even 7%.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Who else had something to want? Gene, come on up.
Can I do it here?
Sure. Do it on the next time.
I'm wholesaling in the Rockford area, and where it's a lot of rentals.
Try to speak as loud as you can.
If you're interested in having some rentals, well, I have a couple of properties, actually 3 of them. I only have papers on 2 of them here. The one I don't have is one on Preston Street. It's a little bungalow. It needs, I would say, cosmetic work on every surface inside the house. And it's been sitting for a couple of years. And needs some other work too. So it's, I don't know, it's going to take about $17,000, we estimate, to do all that work. But it's available for about $7,000 for somebody who wants to get into that and do a lot of work on it. I'm sorry, I don't have a lot of information like the previous fellow did, but you can get on my website and see some pictures. This one here is the fellow wants to move to Florida. You can guess why. And it needs probably, I had a contractor look at it with me too, needs probably around $5,000 rehab. And one of the problems, I don't know if it's probably part of the situation is that somebody did some DIY and wasn't done exactly right. There's a door downstairs, you have to open the door and then get behind it to turn on the light. And he was putting on the siding and didn't put any guttering back up. But all in all, it's water here too. But it's got a big deck in the back, 2.5-car garage, 3 bedrooms, and potential 4th bedroom downstairs if you want to put in a mini egress down there. So yeah, that's the one. Call me or get on my website, see more pictures, and we can talk about it. But I can't give all the numbers and everything. I'm just a simple, straightforward wholesaler. Do what we can.
Excellent.
This other one is it's turnkey on Forest Hills Road, one of the fairly well-traveled roads in Rockford, and it's not far from a lot of shopping, things like that. 3 bedrooms, 1 bath. The fix-ups that I am aware of, the sun porch in the back needs some rehab and fixing up, but it's usable the way it is. The one concern I would have for somebody with kids to rent it is if there are openings in the fence around the house. So some sections of the chain link fence should be patched up or put in, actually, so that kids they can have kids out there, and, you know, it's right close to a busy street, but the fence would help protect those kids. Asking 42,500, ARVs 75, or I'm sorry, 42,500 RVs 75,000, ready for 900, and it's got some good tenants in it. And from what I have seen of the manager, he's a very good one, so they want to keep him as well. The tenant contract states that on the sale of the property, the owner keeps the same contract going. So it's good for, say, probably about 9 or 10 months in. So I can try to answer your questions out there if you want to. I'm going to have to leave pretty soon myself. Got to go all the way back to over here. So,
Awesome. Thanks for making the trip.
Thank you.
What's your website?
Pardon?
Do you have your website?
Yeah. Full of $50.
You want to yell it out? What's your website?
Oh, the website? Oh, okay.
GSchoiceProperties.com.
GSchoiceProperties.
GS Choice Properties?
Properties, yeah, property.
Plural.
It's on here.
It's on the
It's on
sheets.
the flyer.
Okay,
It's on the
excellent.
flyer.
So, you've heard me say before, the most valuable thing at these things for me is meeting people, talking to people, making new friends and making connections. And, frankly, so many of the meetings I go to, because the agenda is the speaker, the sales pitch, the whatever, that I find that time is really limited. And the more people I get to know, because you don't want to be a total jerk, you make sure to say hi to the people you know, and then by the time you're trying to meet somebody new, there's no more time to meet anybody, right? So we got plenty of time to hang out here. The refrigerator's got beverages, Coke, water, pop, beer, what have you. You got property? Okay, I'm sorry. Got another opportunity here. Terrific. I'm sorry.
I was not prepared to present, so I just bring it. Good afternoon, my name is Eymar Fernandez. My first time here. I'm glad that I'm here meeting all these nice people. I can see it's a very nice group too. So I hope I can come back.
Good.
More. Eymar, my name is difficult, so just remember Eymar like Kmart. that will be easier to remember. So I am a cash buyer. I fix and flip properties. So if you are a wholesaler, please take my information so you can send me the properties you have. My goal is to flip one property every 2 months. So wholesalers, take my information. Also, if you are a renter, I'll have a property every 2 months. So I become right now I have this property that I just finished rehabbing. This property is a 2 floors building in Elgin. It's on the border with Hoffman Estates. It's a very nice area, and this property is also very nice now after I rehab it. We redid the 2 bathrooms. They have tile in the floor, marble on the walls, and granite on the countertops. Very nice bathroom. Also, we redid entirely the kitchen with new cabinets and new appliances, tile on the floor. Almost all the walls were redone because this was a foreclosure. So the owners didn't like when they lost the house, so they vandalized the house. So I have to redo all the walls and the ceiling and all that.
Did you get them enrolled in the surveying or management?
I didn't make it. So, but we have done a lot of work because of them. So if you are interested, we can negotiate. I didn't put the price here because we can negotiate it. So if you are interested, I'll put this over here.
Okay, terrific. Does anybody else have any
I do,
opportunities?
yeah.
Oh,
we all
terrific.
do. Whole bunch of
All right,
Come on,
excellent. This is
hey,
awesome.
But,
Love it.
hey, I'm Josh. I got a house in Bartlett that I have under contract. I'm looking to wholesale. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,300 square foot ranch. It's in Bartlett. It's I'd say an A neighborhood, good schools. It's like 3 blocks away from the metro station, really close to the golf course. It's vacant right now. It was built in like 1971 and hasn't been updated since then. So it's a cosmetic update. Kind of closed off in the layout, so there's probably some walls that need to be moved around and opened up. But there's huge potential. It's a ranch, so it's got a huge basement as well, 2,300 square foot basement. Basically unfinished. There's 1 bedroom down there and a bathroom as well. So ARV 300,000. Rehab, I'm looking at about 45, and I'm looking to get about 185 for it. So,
How'd you find it?
through a mailer, absentee list mailer.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice job.
So thanks. So if anybody's interested, give me I can pass out a flyer or meet up with you or something.
Yeah, if you got sheets, you can put them out by the bar.
Okay. I only got a few. So
I can make more copies.
We can
Okay.
make copies.
I'll send you.
When you say
Okay.
absentee,
Well, absentee owner list are for people that own a house over here, but the tax bill gets mailed over here.
Oh, right.
So that's, they live in
You know.
Jamaica.
non-owner
Non-owner occupied, yes. Okay,
That's me, I guess.
That's you.
I'm Jeff. I'm from Homevestors. We buy ugly houses. See the billboards, big national company. I don't have a fancy sheet like everybody because I know we can do that, so I appreciate the time for sure. We often have houses all over Lake County. We have 30 offices here, so I've got one right now in the McCullum Lake area. 2-bedroom over there as well. Another 2-bedroom in McHenry. So if any of those kind of make sense, that's what we have at the moment. So come talk to me. And we'll appreciate it.
nice, thanks for coming. Thanks for bringing deals.
Looking for houses too, so this is great. Ones that I haven't seen. This is a good house, so I'd go see it for sure. Yeah, it's just one of those things. You got it, you were there, and I wasn't. So it is what it is.
Sometimes it goes that way. I've been on the opposite side of those plenty of times, I'm sure. Chris?
I had a 2-unit in Elgin and a 4-flat in Elgin. If anybody's interested, come grab my cards. They're sales, an off-market deal, fully occupied.
I'm sorry, say that again. What was it?
I got a 2-unit in Elgin and a 4-unit in Elgin. Fully occupied. Give me a call. Yeah, if you guys want to come contact me, grab my card.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so I was rethinking what I said at the top of the meeting about the networking time. So everyone's in the same room. Let's do it. I'm going to throw out some categories, and you can raise your hand and look around and see who's got their hand up. So you can say, I want to make sure I talk to that person. Who in here is a private money lender? Anybody got money they want to lend on deals? You laugh.
Yeah.
Because money lender. Is there anybody here that is looking to partner on deals? Partnerships are often best done when you have skill sets that complement each other. Like someone's got a job and credit, someone else has drive and ambition. That makes a good partnership. I'll also say, with regards to wholesale deals, I don't know about anybody else in this room. I've done many joint ventures on wholesale deals. So if anybody's got deals they don't have buyers, Joe and I run a pretty substantial buyer list. On a side note, and you guys probably find the same thing, we have a lot of people that we're in contact with on a pretty regular basis. So the vast majority of the deals that we do never, quote, make it to the buyer's list. So a word of encouragement to buyers would be, you've got some wholesalers that you know are active and know have deals, throw a call in once in a while, because sometimes it's just who's on the top of your mind. You go, oh yeah, that'd be good. And then, you get the call, right? Is there anybody here that is, who are the wholesalers? Okay, good.
I've got cards if somebody wants to know how to contact me.
Okay. Who holds properties? Excellent. Yeah, that's only the real path to the finish line, right? You can't wholesale and flip enough houses to get if you want to go And who are all the flippers? Who's looking for flipping opportunities? Is there any other category? What other categories am I not thinking about? All right, so it sounds like everyone's kind of doing a little bit of everything. Who are the realtors in the room? This is it. You're gonna want to work with them too. They're a great source of properties. Absolutely.
Who needs hard money? Who needs hard money?
I work for tennis.
Who needs hard money?
Who needs cash?
Oh, yeah, who needs cash? Yeah, I asked who had cash. Who needs cash? All right.
Anybody looking for bridge loans? Come see me.
Anybody else have any questions, concerns, comments? Thanks for coming, everybody. This is a nice group. I hope to see a room full of people again. We do this every 2 weeks. So please join us.
Yes.
Nice. Hey, Joe. Joe, you're gonna have the shares.
Yeah, backside of the office, I'll have
Okay. So anybody interested in those deals, see Joe. That's awesome.
Well, that's good. That's what I'm saying.
You're serious, man. Business is over, right?
I do wholesale right now.
Yeah, yes, I want boxes. I'm interested. How we do it?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to do it for like tomorrow, we'll get together. And
Yeah, because you got every.
So your text message. So, yeah, so we're on the same page. Tomorrow. So the mechanicals are in good shape. One of them is about 2 years old.
I got
Ours is probably
all the
less than 10 years. The roof is in really good shape. The two areas I would do, one is